You ever been in a project or a business deal that started out with all this amazing promise, but now you just feel stuck? You've poured in your time, your money, your energy, and yet something just feels off. Well, today we're diving into exactly that. How to spot when a golden opportunity is actually a trap, and more importantly, how to get yourself out of it wisely.
And we're pulling all these insights from a great book called Escaping the Profit Trap by Habtom Araya. Now, what's really interesting here is the author's background. He isn't just a financial guy, he's also a certified auditor and an engineer. So what you're going to get is this really structured, almost blueprint-like way of looking at this super common business problem.
I mean, this quote from the book just nails it, doesn't it? Wisdom is the courage to walk away. It's such a powerful way to reframe the whole thing. It's not about being a pessimist, it's about being a strategist. And that's the big idea we're going to dig into today. How you build up that courage to know when to fold a losing hand.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down the illusion that sucks us in. Then, we'll get into the psychology of why it's so hard to leave. After that, we'll cover the big warning signs to look for, map out a smart way to get out, and finally, wrap it all up with this core idea of choosing wisdom over short-term profit.
So let's start with the trap itself, what the book calls the profit trap illusion. This is that initial burst of excitement, when an opportunity seems almost too good to be true. Because as we're about to see, it often is.
So what are we actually talking about when we say profit trap? Well, the book defines it pretty clearly. It's any situation that looks amazing on the surface, but is hiding some major problems underneath. Think about a partnership or an investment that starts off great, but then slowly it just starts draining your money, your time, and honestly, your sanity.
And let's be real, these psychological pulls are powerful. We've all felt them. You've got that overconfidence, right? Where one past success makes you feel like you can't lose. Then there's that artificial urgency, that you have to act now pressure that just bypasses all your critical thinking. And maybe the biggest one of all is peer pressure, that fear of missing out when it seems like everyone is jumping in.
So this brings us to a really important question. If things are getting so bad, why do smart people like you and me stay stuck for so long? The psychology behind this is just fascinating, and it's something every single one of us has probably experienced.
And this slide just perfectly captures that internal battle, right? On one side, in our heads, we've got this little hopeful voice saying, but I've already put so much in, I can't just quit. That is the classic sunk cost fallacy. Or we tell ourselves it'll turn around, or we worry about what everyone will think if we fail. But that hopeful voice is trying to shout over the reality, which is mounting losses, stress that's literally making us sick, and in some cases, serious legal trouble.
Okay, so if we know why we get stuck, the next logical step is learning how to get unstuck. And that journey starts with seeing the trap for what it really is. This is where we go from theory to real-world tactics, by learning to spot those warning signs before it's too late.
Now, what's so great about this is how clear these signals become once you know what to look for. Are those profit goals constantly shifting downward? Are you getting asked to put more and more money in just to keep it afloat? Is it suddenly impossible to get a straight answer about the finances? Or do you just have that gut feeling, that ethical unease about what's going on? These aren't small things. These are huge red flags waving right in your face.
So you've got all these potential red flags swirling around, and it can feel a little overwhelming. But the book gives us this simple, really powerful tool to cut through all that noise. It all comes down to this one number, 3. This is your trigger to take action. So, what's the rule? It's this practical rule. If you can tick the box on 3 or more of those warning signs we just looked at, it's officially time to stop hoping. It's time to pause everything, take a step back, and do a serious, cold, hard reassessment of the whole situation. It's just a brilliant way to use a simple rule to cut through all our emotional biases.
Okay, so you've seen the red flags, you've hit your 3-signal limit, you've paused. Now what? Well, you don't panic. You make a plan. And this next part is all about giving you a professional framework to make that really tough, but really necessary decision to exit. And to do that, the book gives us a formal tool called the Araya Strategic Exit Model, or ASEM for short. Just think of it like a machine that takes all the chaos and emotion of the situation, puts it in one end, and out the other comes a clear, logical plan for a professional exit. This model works in 5 really logical stages. And notice where it begins, with evaluation. That's the homework you do before you even get into the deal. That's your foundation. From there, you're constantly monitoring and actively looking for those risk signals we talked about. And only then do you get to the assessment, where you weigh if it's still worth it.
If the scales have tipped, the final step is a planned strategic exit, not a panicked escape.
So as we bring this all home, the final piece of the puzzle is really about a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's about learning to prioritize long-term wisdom over the siren song of short-term profit. The book actually has 10 golden rules, but if you only remember 3, make them these 3. First, always verify. Get the documents, see the data. Don't just run on someone's word. Second, and this is huge, plan your exit before you even enter. Knowing how you'll get out gives you incredible power. And finally, protect your reputation like it's your most valuable asset. Because it is. You can always make more money. Rebuilding trust is a whole different story.
And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. Real lasting success isn't just about the number on a spreadsheet. It's about the quality of your decisions, your integrity, and your ability to navigate this stuff with true wisdom.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Based on everything we've just talked about, what opportunity, in your job, in your business, maybe even in your personal life, might be time for a strategic second look?